tell you that they're going to show up with that this spaceship's going to show up, chances are the spaceship's going to show up is going to be one of these bad Larrys right here. It's a Boeing YAL-1A7474G4F. This can fly where you can't see it, and it can literally shoot a laser down that the second it's shot, according to the science, according to all this, every testing thing I've found on these things, the second this thing fires the laser, it's already making contact. So this thing could literally just start blowing absolutely everything out of this. You would think it was alien spaceships. And the thing is they do have technology that does look like alien spaceships. What did I do here? Stand by, having technical problems. Well, yeah, these things are used to make fires, but we've caught these things in action. We caught these things when they were doing, when they did, before Palisades, Paradise. Remember when I did a fundraiser years ago and none of the big channels wanted to get involved because, you know, it was a natural disaster or whatever? This right here tells the story because we've caught these things actually lighting it up. And they're like, oh, that wasn't a laser from the sky, even though it looks like a laser from the sky that comes from the sky, hits the ground and sets everything on fire. That's not real. Conspiracy theory.
Possibly be using those in future warfare. Guess what? We've just had a recent breakthrough, more great test results that are making lasers a reality. So it's called Athena. Lockheed Martin makes it, and they've been doing a lot of the pioneering in this laser field. Now, what's really exciting about it is that it's so hard to harness that much power and make it compact enough that it's actually going to make practical sense downrange. And they've proven that they can do that. Recently, they tested it against 5 moving drones, so realistic drones that they might go up.
I'm sorry, this isn't that loud, but it's from a very small channel. It was posted 5 years ago, and nobody watched this. But just deal with it, because it's worthwhile. Because if this Atlas 3I thing shows up, they can make it appear that there are spaceships in the sky, and they can start blowing stuff up with technology we've never seen. We're going to see lasers. What do we see in every single science fiction movie? With aliens, what are they using? We're using bullets. They're using lasers. Well, guess what? They've got an app for that. So watch this or don't.
Against, enemy forces might send against us, for example, or terrorists might send against us. And it successfully shot down all 5 of the drones. This is huge news because it means that in a realistic, practical setting, it's looking very promising. So it could be ready to field quite soon. So when you see the movies or you look at comic books or television shows, when you see the laser weapons, they tend to be a color, right? Red or green or something like that. Real lasers, one of the key advantages that they provide is that they are invisible. You actually can't see them. You just see this damage suddenly starting to blow something up. So if we take a look now at what the...
Okay, I have to interject real quick. I just have to. So we have so much barium, strontium, aluminum, and whatever the FLs, plus everything's always on fire. So we have so much crap in the sky, which is why you can't see a actual blue sky like we used to see back in the late 70s and early 80s. Once in a while, that's going to cause the laser to show up, which is why you usually don't see them, but they have been caught. So I just had to put that out there real quick. So there it is.
Athena did to a truck. So we're looking at a truck engine, and the Athena within seconds was able to beam right in there, heat the whole thing up, and burn through the engine of this vehicle. So if you can imagine if you were in that vehicle, all of a sudden, this hole would start appearing in your engine, and the whole thing would just disappear. That's what these lasers do. Now, there's some other key advantages that we should mention. Let me give you 3 of them. 1, unlimited ammo. As long as we have power, we have an unlimited magazine. And downrange, of course, having unlimited ammo can be a huge advantage. Second, it's silent. Don't give the enemy any advance warning that it's coming. Now, the third one I wanted to touch on is that it's delivering powerful powerful, decisive effects, lethality. We're also doing it so rapidly they don't know what hit them. So if you can circle back to that example of being in the car again, that would happen so instantaneously, within seconds, you truly would have no idea what was happening. It would just suddenly start disintegrating, right? So what can we use these against? So we talked about the vehicle a bit. We talked about how Athena has just proven itself against drones. But in the real world application, our forces could use it against the drones. We could use it against aircraft. We could use it against vehicles on the ground, like we mentioned. We could also use it against fast attack boats. And in fact, Athena's sibling, Adam, a couple years ago proved that it could eliminate these fast attack boats. So if you imagine boats start trying to swarm one of our ships, not a problem for this laser. Burns right through the hull. As you can see right there, it's burning right through the hull. I'm incredibly excited about this news, this great news about the successful testing of Athena, because it means that we'll be putting these powerful weapons soon. We could put them in the hands of our warfighters and give them even more powerful weaponry to keep themselves safe and also to...
Isn't it hilarious? She's explaining everything that we see at these wildfires. You know, trees are fine. Everything that should be on fire because it's a wildfire, you know, trees are fine, bushes are fine, everything's fine. But everything that would have to be melted in a furnace is melted. Car tires, things of that nature, just like she just finished explaining. Isn't that queer? Isn't that strange, unusual, not normal? I totally agree. Yeah, that makes sense, right? All right, let me get that one out of there. But here's just one more because you need to know, these guys have the technology to make it appear. And I mean, you're even going to be doubting it. I'm telling you this right now. Some people are saying I'll be sitting back with my popcorn, but you won't. But you won't. Because when this happens, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be absolutely ugly. It is going to be the ultimate tool to force a new world order. Because they're not going to care what we say, just like they didn't care what we said during COVID. You know what I mean? And everybody did what they were told. I didn't. And I'll tell you what, I'm driving across the United States to go out to Wyoming, and I'm the only one on the highway. There's nobody driving on the highway. And I'm thinking, any minute now, they're going to just drop a net on me. They just didn't care. They made it so inconvenient. When I tried to stop for gas, people were trying to put digital thermometers to my forehead. And I'm like, please don't point a red laser dot at my forehead. That won't work out well. I will respond poorly to that. And I wasn't lying. But think about this. This is going to be insane. You're not going to be able to explain to somebody that's looking up at a TR-3B and going, I saw that in a movie. Yes, you did. That's what movies are for. They're not just predictive programming. They teach you how to respond to an event that is out of this world. It's insane. Spaceships, it shows you what people do, just like the movie Pandemic showed us about wearing masks and social distancing, things we never heard. We never heard of that. But man, did everybody, no pun intended, fall in line really quick. 6 feet apart, of course, you know, because for safety, which was just laughable and ridiculous, but people did it, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So trying to explain to people as it's happening while you're dodging laser beams that you can or can't see coming from the sky, it's going to be a little hectic. If I were you, I'd jump right out in front of one of them because I ain't hanging around for this, and there ain't going to be no helping. If you can't help them now, you ain't going to be able to help them then. I'll tell you that right now. So there, as they say, is that.
This morning, as the death toll continues to grow on Maui, new video surfaces raising questions as to what may have sparked the deadliest wildfire in modern U.S. history. 111 people now confirmed dead.
Watch this, because you're going to see a laser hit, and they're going to go, "Oh, that's a tree hitting a transformer on a telephone pole." It's a laser. You can see it. They've been caught a few times, but I digress.
Hundreds unaccounted for. Search and rescue teams have covered 38% of the impact zone. FEMA, the Red Cross, and the military all on the ground.
I can tell you it's going to be a long and costly recovery, but much of that work will be done here with our local people.
And watch as this security camera captures what could be an early trigger in that devastating wildfire. August 7th at 10:47 p.m., a day earlier. You hear a witness describe a flash that might be a tree falling on a power line.
It's windy, and then is a flash. And I think that's when a tree's falling on a power line. The power goes out.
One expert saying those videos taken in upcountry Maui show the flames spreading and may be the first evidence of...
Okay, I have to pause this for a second to answer this. Richie, do you think Trump's entire cabinet is complicit? They're all in this together. Everybody that has any authority to do anything actual on this earth is them, okay? It's them, and then there's us. If they don't play ball, even all the different, this Republicans met, it's all opera, it's all theater. These guys are about to take over the entire world, just like it said in the Bible. They're literally doing it right now. So yes, they're all in this together. It's a big club, and once again, we're not in it, but I digress.
Of downed power lines igniting a fire.
And we've got that video of that kind of explosion, and we've got 10 sensors in that community that show a very sharp drop in electrical voltage at precisely that same time.
The power line just went down.
By the next morning, August 8th at 6:37 a.m. in Lahaina,
That's right. They had 10 sensors in that neighborhood. You know, the neighborhood that was literally turned into rubble and liquid metal? They had 10 sensors that gave them all the information they needed. That's because that's what they were concerned about. It's unbelievable, the lies, but aren't they good ones? I mean, they really try, or they don't try. I don't know.
Jane True uses a garden hose to battle a fire.
That's the power line that started from up the road there, and all of that is still burning.
Authorities declaring that brush fire under control around 9 a.m., but then lost control of the flames hours later when the winds caused a flare-up to spread. By 5 p.m., Lahaina's historic Front Street up in flames. The power company saying it is still investigating what triggered the fire, adding the cause has not been determined. The loss weighing heavy as families are now being asked to provide DNA to account for the dead. Overnight, we spoke to the family of Bo Makai Estores Lozano, the 28-year-old still missing since last Tuesday. His mother telling us police visited her home.
It's so sad when they show people like that because they do not care whatsoever at all. If you recall, I happened to be in Death Valley as the Paradise fires were going. My intent was to make my way there, and I woke up. When you're in Death Valley, it's pitch black. You can't see anything at night. There's no light pollution. It's phenomenal. I wake up and realize that I'm surrounded by vehicles that I didn't even know that were there the night before. These were all people from Paradise, and they're like, so I start talking to them. I actually even interviewed some of them, and I did a fundraiser, if you recall. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I drove this from the East Coast, Boston, all the way out to the West Coast. But right here, you can see the truck is sitting in the middle of Death Valley, and this is Death Valley. So while out here hitting trails, being alone, out in the middle of nowhere, carrying extra gas, taking drone footage, so forth and so on my way to California, I stopped in Death Valley for the night. I was at a rest stop, and a park ranger reminded me that I couldn't stay there. So he sent me over to a campground that was allowing people to park there for free due to the government shutdown. And when I got there, I found these two people. They were survivors from Paradise. Okay, so how odd is it that I just pulled up a video from 6 years ago to show you what I was talking about in Paradise, and at the same exact time back then, there was a government shutdown. I don't know what that means, but it's crazy. But I digress. You remember this? Well, most people don't, unless, of course, they lived in the area and were directly impacted. Paradise fires were absolutely insane, and they wiped out entire communities, destroyed everything in their paths. And I ran into this couple in the middle of nowhere that are literally staying in Death Valley because it's the only place they can afford to. Right before the fires, just by the grace of God, they bought themselves an FJ Cruiser and were planning on building an overland vehicle. Little do they know that this vehicle would suddenly become their mobile home. Unlike most of us that travel the country in our vehicles because we enjoy it, these people are living out of their vehicle because they have no other choice. And I sat down and talked with them and also started getting donations from my main YouTube channel. My main YouTube channel is Richie from Boston. We've already gathered $2,000, which has been sent to them. Tepui Tents has also helped them out. This tent right here in Tread Magazine, this exact tent, was donated by Tepui Tents to this couple. Let's show them how the overland community helps one another out. These people are literally stuck living out of their vehicle, which needs a lot of work. It needs suspension, it needs bumpers, and it needs rear drawers. Like I said, I have a small YouTube channel, and I've already, in just a couple few days, have gathered up $2,000, which has helped them out exponentially. What's up, guys? I'm out in the middle of Death Valley, and I ran into a couple of people that are refugees or escaped from the Paradise Fires. Jasmine and Tim and Bacon and
Wiley.
These two, they almost mauled me. Look at his face. It's like, I hate that guy, and I'm gonna bite him.
She might. Take my jacket off.
At any rate, so right before the Paradise Fires occurred in California, where these guys once lived, they decided they were going to foray into the overland community, which worked out really well because since the fires, you've literally been living out of this Tepui tent for how many days?
For about 37 days, we've compiled so far since we did stay a couple nights.
Now, where'd you get this tent? You just told me the story.
J&H Off-Road in La Habra, California, contacted us on Instagram.
And they donated the tent.
They said, pull up to our shop. We'll take it off of our show truck to Tepui, because they work with Tepui. So Tepui gave them the go-ahead, and boom.
Nice.
We got ourselves a damn home.
That's the...
I'll leave links below if you want to watch the rest of that. But I just wanted to show you that social media, if you have a presence, in my opinion, you're obligated to help smaller channels become bigger. You're obligated to help people out when you possibly can. And you're obligated to call out people when they're doing something shady or they're misrepresenting themselves and taking advantage of a certain group of people, you know, conspiracy theorists, Christians, things of that nature. But I digress. I'll leave links below if you want to watch that full video, but it was 6 years ago. And I just found it really strange that when that fire occurred, there was also a government shutdown, just like there is right now. But
back when this was happening. And they're like, I'm like, what are you guys going to do? They're like, well, we don't have a house anymore and we don't have our cars. We just happen to be driving this one and we made it out of town. They said, but there's nothing left. We don't have a job because our job is gone. The entire town was just erased. And do you remember this? Because I didn't think to pull it up for this live stream, but do you remember the photos of cars lined up? They're all pulled over and everybody's behind the steering wheel completely dead, like a volcano hit or a directed energy weapon hit. Because I'll tell you what, everybody is driving into a fire and they all just go, well, can't go any further. Let's just all sit here and burn to death. You don't do that. You ever burn your hand? You don't stay still. Oh my goodness, I just burned my entire arm or my entire body. Those people it was a test for what's coming. You know, it broke my heart how many people didn't care about that or cared about it enough to change their little stupid picture on their Facebook or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.